Hello everyone, I'm Ann Clay, and I'm presenting the Nebraska Native Pollinator Project as part of the EVSP 501 class. The purpose of this project is to increase the amount and quality of food for native pollinators in Nebraska to help increase their numbers. This will be accomplished through the increased use of pollinator-friendly cover crops on fields and through the addition of native plants to private and public property. The project's vision is to expand habitat for native Nebraska pollinators while reducing water waste across the state. There are two types of stakeholders involved in this project. The first are government entities such as the Nebraska Department of Transportation, the Nebraska Department of Natural Resources, the Omaha Department of Parks, Recreation, and Public Property, and the Omaha Planning Department. This group has the ability to institute policy, provide funding, and enact change on public lands. The second group are private citizens, who include farmers and ranchers, business owners, homeowners, and property developers. These members own over 90% of the land in Nebraska and have the greatest ability to increase habitat for pollinators. The project will be divided into 3 phases. The first of these will last 6 months. The initial step will be to obtain funding through grants and local government funds for training volunteers and developing the project. The second step will be set up meetings with long-established as well as newer Nebraska ranchers, farmers, business owners, NDOT members, developers, and residents to gather their input on the project. In Phase 2, project leaders will create an NDOT plan to increase native plant cover on roadsides, with a goal of covering 15% of roadside land with native plants. Next, the team will develop an education program for farm operators to train them on the techniques and benefits of cover cropping, creating native tree and shrub windbreaks, and seeding field margins with native plant mixtures. The goal of this program will be to increase the area of agricultural land planted with native plants by 500,000 acres by the end of the first year. Phase 3 will focus on increasing residential and business property planting of native species. This will be incentivized through tax and water bill credits. The goals will be to add 1,000 certified Nebraska pollinator habitats by the end of the first year, and for new business developments to devote a minimum of 5% of their land to native plants. To monitor the success of the program, volunteers trained to identify native pollinator species will compare prior established and newly planted areas for number and diversity of species. They will check these areas weekly during the spring, summer, and fall. In addition, annual surveys will be sent to 2 groups. The first group will be sent to farmers and ranchers to assess attitudes toward cover cropping and planting native species in field margins and on grazing land. A second set of surveys will be sent to businesses and homeowners. Both sets will evaluate the effectiveness of outreach efforts. Because native pollinators are adapted to native plants, there are few alternative management methods to improve pollinator numbers in Nebraska. Non-native ornamental plants, such as those typically used for landscaping, provide very little benefit, as they offer little to no nectar and pollen for adult pollinators and are rarely suitable food sources for pollinator larvae. Honeybees are non-native pollinators, and though they can benefit many crops, they require intensive upkeep, are prone to disease, are unsuited to the local climate, and are expensive. Managing populations of wild bees has proven effective at increasing orchard and crop pollination, and while it is much less disruptive to the ecology than honeybees are, these populations are expensive and time-intensive to maintain. In closing, improving the number of native pollinators in Nebraska will require a multi-pronged approach involving many groups. Monitoring the effectiveness of its sub-programs will be critical to ensuring the program's success.